Hold on a second. Did Camille actually just set her own husband up to be sent out to clean? Look, if you've been watching this season of Silo, you know things have been spiraling out of control fast. But that image Apple TV dropped for episode 9, it changes everything. We're sitting right on the edge of the penultimate episode, and if you know anything about how this show operates, the penultimate episode is usually where the biggest, most insane twists drop, sometimes even outshining the season finale itself. Welcome back to your nerdy show. I'm your host, Spoiler Modder. Today, we're diving deep into the trailer, that mysterious Apple TV synopsis, and all the crazy details you might have missed to break down the top theories for Season 3, Episode 9. We've got Sim's potential final walk, Bernard's massive secret, and a sinister twist about the before times that explains everything about Helen and Daniel. Before we jump in, a quick spoiler warning. We're going to be talking about the latest episodes and footage from the season trailer, so if you're not caught up, bookmark this, get watching, and come back when you're ready. Alright, let's get into it. The Sacrificial Lamb, Robert Sim's final walk. Let's start with that official Apple TV photo and synopsis. The synopsis tells us that the entire silo is stunned by an announcement from Camille, while Daniel and Helen attend a special event. Now, look at the photo accompanying it. You've got Camille standing right next to Juliet in the canteen. They're staring out the giant window, dressed up, with a massive, dead silent crowd gathered around them. What else could this possibly be? Someone is being sent out to clean. Now, Juliet is wearing her full mayoral attire, so we know it's not her taking the walk. So who could possibly make the entire silo gasp at once? It's Robert Sims. I know there are a lot of theories floating around the online that Camille is playing chess, that she's secretly working undercover with Sims against the algorithm, and that locking Sims and Juliet in the same cell was all part of a master plan. Honestly, I don't buy it. If Camille and Sims were secretly on the same side, we would have seen a slip of the mask by now. Instead, when they were locked up alone, where no one else could hear them, the hostility was 100% real. Sims looked his own wife in the eye and said, "You tried to erase what happened to her there, and you failed. Just as I hope you fail here." That wasn't fake stage fighting. Those were the damning words of a man who has completely checked out on his wife, and you could see it on Camille's face. That was the final nail in the coffin. When she told him, "You've made your choice," she meant it. Camille is running entirely on paranoia and self-preservation right now. She knows Sims holds secrets he's refused to share. She's terrified of the safeguard protocol, that system designed to wipe them all out if things get out of hand. In her mind, Sims isn't just an uncooperative husband anymore. He's a direct threat to the silo's peace, to her life, and most importantly, to their son, Anthony. To save her son and keep her grip on power, Camille is willing to sacrifice Sims. And sending the former head of judicial security out to clean, that is the ultimate power move to stun the silo into absolute submission. Sims' character arc has been pointing to this exact tragic end. He went from being a cold-blooded enforcer for Bernard to a broken man who regrets everything he's done. He doesn't want to kill for the silo anymore. He wants his son to remember him as someone who fought for what was right. Sadly for Sims, his redemption arc might just end at the end of a cleaner's suit. The Ghost in the Machine. Bernard rises. Now, if Sims gets sent out to clean, you'd think Camille has total control, right? Wrong. Because there's a massive wild card she has zero ability to predict. Bernard Holland. The last episode ended on that incredible, chilling close-up of Bernard. And that wasn't just a stylish shot, that was a promise. Think about it. Shirley just ran back to tell everyone that Juliet was taken. Things in Silo 18 are officially at a boiling point. Up until now, Bernard has been hiding in the shadows, playing dead, but Bernard was the head of IT. He understands the mechanics of the silo better than anyone, and he knows that Camille and her algorithm-driven paranoia are pushing the silo closer to triggering the safeguard protocol. Here's the thing. The algorithm doesn't know Bernard is alive. His existence is an anomaly, a complete variable outside its predictive models. So, how does Bernard play this? Some people think Bernard is going to reveal the whole truth to the entire silo. Tell everyone about Silo 1 and the fact that there's a master switch out there capable of gassing them all at the push of a button. But if he does that, the panic would be so immediate that the algorithm might just hit the nuclear option right then and there. Instead, I think Bernard's resurrection is specifically meant to force a confrontation. He's the only one who knows how to bypass the security measures to get into the vault. With Juliet and Emerson blocked from capping the poison gas pipes, Bernard revealing himself might be the only way they can step into that room, face the algorithm directly, and demand answers. And what do I think that algorithm is going to tell them? I think we're finally going to learn why the safeguard protocol exists in the first place. The people of the silo have lived for generations believing they are the righteous survivors of a ruined world. But what if the history books weren't destroyed just to keep them ignorant? What if they were destroyed because human nature itself was the weapon that destroyed the earth? Imagine the algorithm laying it out flat. Human beings are an inherently destructive species, and the silos were built as a cage just as much as a sanctuary. Hearing that truth would completely shatter everything the residents believe about themselves. It would be a terrifying, deeply psychological moment for the show, and I am so here for it. The before times, poison water and lost memories. While all this chaos is exploding underground, we've got to talk about what's going on in the flashbacks, or rather, the before times. The trailer showed us a brief, fascinating glimpse of Helen returning to Georgia, standing right near where the silos are actively being constructed. And if you look closely at her neck, she's wearing a lanyard marked with the number 18. Now, hold on. In the most recent episode, Helen was completely, vehemently against the silo project. She stormed out. She called it monstrous. So why on earth is she standing there, looking perfectly calm, essentially supervising the construction of Silo 18? Did you catch those two tiny, incredibly deliberate shots in the last episode? First, right before Helen leaves the office after refusing to participate, the camera lingers on her taking a massive sip of water from the table. Second, as Helen and Daniel fly away in the helicopter, the camera cuts to Dr. Sankovic standing on the pad, watching them disappear into the night with this creepy, ominous look on his face. Why show us Dr. Sankovic? Because he is the creator of the memory loss drug, the vitamin D+ that they put in the silo water supply. It all connects. Pest Stenson and his team knew Helen signed an NDA, but they also knew her moral compass. They knew she's the kind of person who would run straight to the press, just like what happened with the Washington Post story. They couldn't trust her to stay quiet. So, what did they do? They spiked the water. When Helen returns to the silo site, she's not there because she changed her mind. She's there because she doesn't remember her objections. Her mind has been wiped, turning her from a passionate whistleblower into a compliant worker for the project. And what about Daniel Keene? Daniel is way too valuable to Pest Stenson to just be left behind. Stenson needs Daniel's brilliant engineering mind to make sure these massive underground death traps are built with total efficiency. Daniel loved his sister. He wouldn't just abandon her. I'm calling it right now, and I've had a hunch about this all season. Daniel Keene's story doesn't end in the past. He is directly tied to the creation of the algorithm itself. Whether his body was put into cryosleep for 350 years in Silo 1, or whether they uploaded a digitized, cloned version of his consciousness to oversee the entire Silo network. Daniel Keene is the voice of the algorithm. Think about the tragic poetic irony of that. Daniel, a man who desperately wanted his work to mean something, ends up becoming the cold, unfeeling digital warden keeping his own sister, and generations of survivors, trapped in the dark. Our nerdy thoughts. When you piece it all together, Sims facing the ultimate punishment at the hands of his own wife, Bernard stepping out of the shadows to disrupt the algorithm's master plan, and the tragic origin of how Helen and Daniel were manipulated in the past. Episode 9 is shaping up to be an absolute masterpiece. And look, we haven't even touched on the side plots yet. What's the real deal with those stolen light bulbs? Were they digging vertically? And are Solo, Lucas, and Patty Kennedy actually going to survive their trek back to Silo 18? We are in for a wild ride, folks. Now, I want to hear from you. Do you think Camille is actually going to send Sims out to clean? Or is there one more twist left in their marriage? Is Daniel Keene really the voice behind the algorithm? Drop your wildly crazy predictions down in the comments below. I read as many as I can, and I want to see who gets it right. If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit that like button, share it with a fellow Silo fan, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss our full recap and breakdown the second episode 9 drops. Thanks for hanging out, stay safe in the deep, and I'll see you in the next one.
No, what the heck, I'll laugh anyway.